Well, here she is. Let's get her measured up. I'll take a peek at her and then we'll move on to the tests. The Watchman's usable blade length is 2.8 inches. It has a 0.125 inch thick spine, full flat grind micarta handles, and a Kydex sheath. Weight is 3.6 and 5.7 ounces. The edge was applied on a belt by hand, so the angle wanders all over the place, but I think it's meant to be around 20 degrees per side or 40 degrees all inclusive. The behind the edge thickness bumps around between 15 to 20 thou. HRC was rounded down to 59 after multiple checks on my hardness tester where the range was 59 to 60. This is the Watchman from Amazon. I don't know a lot about this brand. It's very popular among the YouTube affiliate code people. It comes in a plain black box with a nondescript Chinese label. There's no branding or anything like that. So this is an OEM white label thing that someone has branded as Watchman knives. Mine was $31. We'll see how much it changes if the tariffs hold up. I imagine it could get a lot more expensive. This sheath is actually a pretty good quality sheath for this price range. It's pretty tight. You know, there's no wiggle here. Snap is not great, but it's there. For fit and finish, it's not the best. You know, maybe it's okay for this price range. I do have some concerns. It's got this grinder belt finish on the sides, and then it's got this separate process here for milling out the plunges. That mill mark goes all the way to the spine, so you know it catches on your fingernail on the top of the spine, right here at the corner of the spine a little bit. I don't think that's optimal. The micarta handles, they're a little bit rough along the edges, but everything is flush, straight, parallel, all that. As far as ergonomics and design, I like the handle size. It's very comfortable. I don't like that the tang is proud of the handles, but in a knife this size, that's not the end of the world, and it's pretty well smoothed over along the edge. It's chamfered, so it's not going to cause too much discomfort. And in this price range, we see that pretty commonly. I'm still going to take off points. Got a nice profile, a nice thin blade, thin edge. I tend to like it. I don't see a lot wrong with it, except for this control hole business or whatever we got going on back here. I hate these holes in these handles. I don't understand them. I think it's just dumb and gimmicky. All right, the budget fit and finish gets a 4.5, and no knife gets over a 6 in ergo and design with a hole in the handle. All right, so we stopped the sheath drop early because it kept ejecting. It was ejecting every drop. It still sort of has a little snap. It doesn't feel loose, but maybe it's a tiny bit more wobbly in there. I don't know. I don't want to damage the knife, so we're just stopping that early. That was a pretty big fail, and I didn't expect it in a knife this size and this lightweight. So the handle's done fine, but the knife was continuously ejected, so that sheath's a big fail. As you guys know, here we cut rope until the knife either snags on the paper or no longer cuts the rope. I'll be testing it first at the factory edge angle of 40 degrees all-inclusive, then again at 34 degrees all-inclusive, an angle myself and others believe optimizes edge retention versus performance. Six and a half cuts is not very good, way below the potential for 14C28 in. Let's run the test again at 34 degree all-inclusive angle and see what we get. Most of the time when we redo the angle down to 17 degrees, we get about a 25 to 50% bump in performance and edge retention through this rope. So yeah, about a 25% increase in performance. 9 cuts is sort of at the low end of acceptable in my mind. Five cuts through the wood, that's not too bad for a knife this size. Let's look at it under a microscope. You can see there's some rolled areas that are going to snag paper. That's very typical of knives when they stop in the durability test. So we're going to get a less than marginal 6.5 cuts through rope at the factory edge, which can be improved. And then batoning is not bad. It's okay for a knife this size, I'd say. remember, when we drive the knife into the wood like this, we're just having fun. It's not part of the formal testing. This knife happens to hold up really well to this abuse. It just bends, which is fine. The death balls are dropped 5 feet through a tube onto the edge of the knife to check for chipping. All knives are going to be significantly deformed in this test, and that's to be expected. Small ball, big ball. By the way, the top handle fastener fell out during batoning. So it did great with the ball test and my version of tip retention. All right, time for my conclusion about this knife, where I tell you what to think, and you're going to think that because you're a beta, okay? First off, this blade is advertised on Amazon as 3.8 inches. It is definitely not, so be careful. Its factory edge angle offers budget performance through rope. Changing to 17 degrees per side puts it in the modest but acceptable performance category for me. But the knife goofs itself with an awkwardly milled plunge, a mystery handle hole, sketchy sheath performance, and steel that doesn't live up to its potential, not even close. So this one has me scratching my head, even at $31. What did you guys think?